Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has reiterated his call for a face-to-face meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, asserting that only direct talks between the two leaders can pave the way toward a lasting peace. Despite recent rounds of negotiations between delegations from both nations, there has been no breakthrough in efforts to end the ongoing conflict. In a statement, Zelensky urged that the pace of negotiations must be increased, proposing a new round of talks as early as next week.
National Security and Defense Council Secretary Umerov also reported that he has proposed the next meeting with the Russian side for next week. Negotiation dynamics must increase. Everything must be done to achieve a ceasefire. The Russian side must stop avoiding decisions. The exchange of prisoners, the return of children, the cessation of killings. A meeting at the level of leaders is needed to truly ensure peace, a lasting peace. Ukraine is ready for such a meeting.
The appeal comes after months of diplomatic stagnation. Although Moscow extended an offer in May to resume direct negotiations from the point where talks were unilaterally abandoned by Kyiv in 2022, Zelensky instead challenged Putin to meet him personally in Istanbul. Under reported pressure from Washington, Ukraine agreed to resume talks and 2 rounds were held, leading only to prisoner exchanges and no significant progress.
Everyone has grown accustomed to his U.S. President Donald Trump's rather harsh and straightforward rhetoric. At the same time, he reaffirms his intention to continue doing everything possible to facilitate a peaceful settlement. Indeed, President Putin has repeatedly spoken of his desire to bring the Ukrainian settlement to a peaceful conclusion as soon as possible. This is a long process. It requires effort. It is not easy, and it seems Washington is increasingly coming to understand this.
Tensions surrounding the stalled negotiations escalated in June, when Kyiv rejected Moscow's peace proposals and declared the diplomatic process exhausted. Ukrainian officials later suggested their participation was merely to avoid appearing dismissive of a diplomatic initiative reportedly encouraged by the US President Donald Trump. Zelensky's insistence on a personal summit has drawn skepticism in Moscow, particularly given his contested legal standing. Although his presidential term expired in 2024, Zelensky continues to rule under martial law, imposed during the war, and has used it as justification to remain in power. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova dismissed his renewed push for talks as a political maneuver. He is insanely afraid of being forgotten, of becoming unnecessary for the West, she said, accusing the Ukrainian president of seeking to reaffirm his legitimacy through a high-profile meeting with Putin. Putin, for his part, expressed conditional openness to such a meeting.
We agreed that after this stage is completed, we will hold a 3rd round of negotiations. In general, we are ready for this. We need to agree on the place and time. I expect that the President of the Turkish Republic, Mr. Erdogan, remains on his position of supporting this process. We are very grateful to him for this. We are ready to hold such a meeting in Istanbul, but when exactly? This is for the heads of the negotiating groups from both sides to decide. And they, by the way, are in constant operational contact with each other. They constantly call each other, and, in my opinion, this is already good. They are now agreeing on the time of the next meeting, and what will be the subject of the meeting. The subject, in my opinion, should be the discussion of memoranda from both sides.
According to the Kremlin, the authority to sign any binding agreement now lies with Ukraine's parliament, not Zelensky. This week, Ukrainian lawmakers extended martial law and general mobilization for another 90 days, passing the measure with just 1 dissenting vote.